Most people start their healing journey with multiple chronic symptoms. Usually one is not enough to ring the bell that they should do some healing. It's usually like 5, 6, or 7, maybe 8, that they start to actually pay attention to their body. And so they're often left wondering, which one do I start with first? How do I manage the nervous system dysfunction that I'm experiencing, as well as the toxin overwhelm that I'm definitely showing in my body, and all the gut issues that I also have going on? In this video, I'm going to explain to you why I take all my clients through a base level gut healing before we start to move on to any of the other phases, detox and nervous system regulation. And if you're just getting started, I'm going to give you 3 tips of things that you can make sure to incorporate in your gut healing process that is going to make a world of a difference, and to make sure that you've checked these boxes, because they're often the things that people miss, and it's why people aren't seeing the results that they're looking for and thus not able to move on to the next steps. And at the end, I'm also going to share the tolerance level that I like to see my clients at before we move on towards detoxing or dealing with their stress management practices in their life. Healing is going to be different for everybody, and I might vary this depending on the client, but for the most part, this is generally speaking the guideline of amounts that I like to use. So let's jump in. Hi, my name is Selena from Wholeness Campaign. I've recovered from IBS, parasitic infection, Lyme's disease, asthma, allergies, histamine intolerances, food intolerances, and a host of chronic symptoms associated with multiple severe concussions, all using food as medicine. And it's my passion to help others do the same. So let's jump right into why I feel like we have to start with the gut healing nutrition first, before we even touch the nervous system dysfunction, before we try to do trauma work, before we attempt the deeper inner healing exercises or stress management practices in life, why it's helpful to actually start with the gut healing. My main answer, cut and dry, simple, practical, is that you literally can't heal a nervous system that is in a stress response from nutrient deficiencies. And this is actually why we see a lot of nervous system dysregulation happen, is because of nutrient deficiencies. So if we're at a lack to begin with, then going in and trying to push our bodies further and support even deeper emotional and neurological healing is really just very, very difficult, and you're kind of fighting an upward battle. So I like to have people at least at a minimum baseline before I personally walk them through the nervous system stuff. Now, I'm not saying this needs to be everybody's story, but this is just what I see the most success with, because many of our nervous system dysfunction actually starts in the gut, and I want to go into that a little bit. First of all, the gut directly produces neurotransmitters. 95% of our serotonin is actually produced in the gut lining. Your gut microbes produce GABA, dopamine precursors, short-chain fatty acids. All of these things regulate neurological function and brain inflammation. When the gut is inflamed and dysbiotic and leaky, we often see endotoxins leaking into the bloodstream, and neurotransmitter function drops pretty sharply. This means that you can do all of the breath work and the therapy in the world, but the gut still isn't producing the raw materials needed for calm, balanced neurochemistry, and often the nervous system just can't quite stabilize. I also want to say that endotoxins from leaky gut actually drive our fight or flight response. Lipopolysaccharides, histamines, and other inflammatory compounds cross the gut barrier and trigger increased cortisol production, heightened sympathetic tone, vagus nerve suppression, microglial activation in the brain. So what's important to note here is that the nervous system actually reads inflammation as danger. Most of the nervous system practices I teach are about communicating safety to the body, but often when our body is physiologically in a stress response, we end up sort of putting a little bit of a Band-Aid on it, because we are constantly getting these signals of dysregulation from the gut to the brain, basically saying that we're not safe. And so as much as mindset does matter, and I actually think in certain unique instances, you actually can override even our physiological barriers. Like, mindset is so powerful in that way. I often just see it being much harder and taking much longer to see the type of results that we're actually looking for. The analogy I like to give is that trying to turn down the nervous system dysregulation without closing that gut barrier is kind of like trying to turn off the smoke alarm while there is still a fire in the house. It's like the smoke alarm is only going off because there's a fire in the house. And so I would probably get the fire to stop before we deal with the smoke alarm, if that makes sense. I also really do believe that the vagus nerve is a two-way street. So we see signals coming from your brain to your gut and from your gut to your brain. However, most of them are actually documented to be from the gut to the brain, not the brain to the gut. 80% or more of the signals that are running on this vagus vagus nerve highway are actually going from the gut to the brain. Only 20% actually travel from the brain to the gut. So in essence, the gut has far greater influence over nervous system tone than the brain has over gut function. I also mentioned this in another video, but nutrient absorption determines our ability to regulate our nervous system. If we are not able to actually absorb the nutrients that are coming in from our food, then no matter what type of diet we're on, we are going to be depleted in these vital nutrients. B1, B6, B12 are super important for nervous system function, and some of them are actually made by our gut bacteria. Magnesium, zinc, omega-3s, amino acids, all of these things start in the gut and can be amplified by actually healing the gut wall. And for my own life, this is just my own practical story, I definitely tried doing the nervous system work first because it was a pretty traumatic concussion that led me into my healing journey. I was pretty much crippled by it. So I went into neuro rehab trying to really work on my brain and actually did over 24 sessions with neurofeedback. Neurofeedback is basically where they're mapping the different brain waves that are going on. So the gamma, alpha, beta, theta, whatnot, they're mapping them out to see if they are operating in optimal ranges of calm, whether they are underactivated or overactivated. When I went in personally, I was extremely overreactive. My entire brain was in the red, which is as intensely overreactive as it could be. At the end of the 24 sessions, I did 2 rounds of 12 sessions. At the end of it, my brain had literally not budged at all. And they actually left me telling me that I probably needed to do something with my diet. It wasn't until I actually started taking in the foods that were going to nourish me, that I started nourishing my nervous system, that I felt like my brain could actually calm down. Now, I did try all those efforts, but literally on paper, there were areas of my brain that got worse. They stayed completely red for the most part. There were some areas that trickled from like yellow to orange, orange to yellow, but literally some areas got worse by the end of it. And this is not just a unique story. I hear this type of stuff all the time where it feels like you're almost kind of faking it before you get the right nourishment intact to be able to start repairing the nervous system at a cellular level, because our body shouldn't be functioning that way. And this heightened sympathetic tone obviously can be from emotional reasons. That was a big part of my story and working through it in that season. So I'm not super surprised my brain was a little bit unmalleable, but I hear it all the time from people that it's just really tricky to budge some of these stubborn neurological symptoms when we're coming at it only from a nervous system focused lens, which often ends up being lots of mental work, lots of emotional work, and lots of physically signaling safety to the body, not by way of nutrition or anything, but it's typically just done by speaking things to your body or encouraging a sense of calm, maybe doing things like neurofeedback that actually train your brain to get more dopamine hits from being in an optimal range. That just personally didn't work for me, and I've heard countless stories like this. So when we start with the gut stuff, this is actually where I see the most fruit because we're right away attacking the source. We're trying to get the fuel source going for healthy neurotransmitter function, which means that we are giving our body the raw materials that it really needs to start producing the healthy levels of serotonin and dopamine and GABA and short chain fatty acids that it really needs in order to experience an emotional calm. That's my spiel on that. So if you're just getting started and you're like, okay, Selena, what am I supposed to do in actually healing my gut? I do have a 6-week program. It's a mini program that takes you through this process I'm about to outline for you. So if you'd like some more catered support, I will have the link for that in the description box below. It's a 3-session coaching package with 6 weeks of unlimited one-to-one support with me. So go ahead and check that out. If any of this sparks, I would really love somebody to review my process and get some catered support. I'm totally available for that. But the first step is that you want to actually make sure that you're consuming the right amounts of meat stock. Many people come to me and they're saying, I'm consuming meat stock. They're not actually consuming meat stock. They're consuming bone broth. They are consuming maybe a cup of it a day or a cup of it at certain meals. They're not even actually getting tons of it. With that often comes meals that are just totally imbalanced. They're often eating really large amounts of carbohydrates. Meat stock is amazing because you're getting all of this protein and fat and amino acids that your body and your brain need to recover. So if you're actually getting the right amounts of meat stock to really see progress, you would be drinking 5 to 8 cups of meat stock a day, according to Dr. Natasha, which sounds crazy, but that's actually where I see clients get their biggest breakthrough. And it's so simple. I have a $17 meat stock mini course in the description box below if you're interested in getting started with that, but it is literally number one. And I don't really let clients move on from that if they haven't mastered that, because it's so key to getting that gut wall healed and sealed. It acts like the glue. So if we want to seal leaky gut, if we want to stop this endotoxin production that's going to the brain and affecting our mood and our nervous system function, we need to start with meat stock, okay? And it has to be the right amounts. 2 is diversifying probiotics. So we actually need to get diversity. We need to be challenging our microbiome. I often see people come to me where they're like, oh, I eat sauerkraut with meals, and I'm wondering, how much are you eating? And it's, a small little portion on the side. Or they say, oh yeah, I drink fermented brines, or I drink kefir or yogurt, or all these amazing things. And when we kind of get down to the nitty-gritties of it, it's a very small amount, and they haven't challenged their microbiome at all in a while. They aren't actually looking for the strains that their gut actually needs. They're just incorporating them into meals where they can and kind of getting reactions from it, but they're not really noticing the amounts and the dosing and how the doses of that are affecting their symptoms. It's a little bit sporadic, and that's something that I really help people to hone in on. And 3 is that you're increasing your fat intake. I've gotten lots of questions about this lately because people are often eating way too much fat that they can tolerate, or not enough that they're not even trying to get to the place where they can tolerate more. We want to be increasing the fat because the fat is what's really going to be healing. When you need to put your body into a healing state, we need to increase the fat. This is why keto works so well for people when they're in these chronic states of symptom overload where they can't manage anything, is because you just are upping the fat so much. Often, at least if you're doing the high fat version of keto, you're upping the fat so much that you're bringing your body into this deep state of healing, and that fat and all those nourishing vitamins that are in there are able to nourish your nervous system. So how do you tell then if your tolerance to these foods are at an adequate level before you can actually move on in the healing, before you can start doing the detox work or doing the nervous system stuff, before you can move to the next step? I want to explain how I can tell this with my clients. First of all, it is going to be very different depending on each person and what they're dealing with. Somebody with histamine intolerance is going to get a totally different protocol than somebody who has SIBO or candida overgrowth. I'm going to tell them different things. But as a broad sweeping overview, before we lean into some of the deeper detox practices, I want to see somebody tolerating at least a cup of meat stock, at least a half a cup of fermented brine a day, and at least a quarter cup of fat. That's the general guideline. Again, that's going to be different for different conditions. If somebody has come to me with a fat intolerance condition, that number for the fat amount is going to change. If somebody's got histamine intolerance, that might be a little bit less of the probiotics to tolerate before we do the detox stuff. Those are the general guidelines I want to see before we move into detox, because detox can be a little bit triggering for people. It can trigger die-off responses. These therapeutic foods are going to make your symptoms a little bit worse before it gets better. But I want to see somebody at least stable enough to where they're tolerating the foods that are really doing the work of healing and that they're prioritizing that in their life. Now, before we get into the nervous system stuff, some people, honestly, should really be starting with some nervous system practices. Now, the reason I still choose to start with nutrition is because I still want to make sure that they're getting at least something in their diet before we jump into trying to resolve some of this emotional spiral that very well could be entirely rooted in the fact that they're malnourished. So I want to see their nourishment up. I want to see them eating really large amounts of these nutrient-dense foods because I think it's just going to make the process much easier. Now, if somebody comes to me in my program, they're going to have access to my nervous system modules, so they can do that often at their own pace. But I want the reactivity to these foods to be manageable enough to where you're not focused so much on the food before we move on to really stabilizing the nervous system and doing some of the deeper work. Now, there's a difference when I talk about nervous system stuff with some of the more surface level stuff that can help calm the body down. That we could really start at any point. But the deeper, more emotional, trauma-based work, belief system-based work, I really like to start that once we've gotten the nourishment in. So if that makes sense, we're differentiating. We've got phase 1 of nervous system regulation, really could happen at any point. I will sometimes incorporate aspects of this before we do any nutrition stuff just so that we can get habits forming in a healthy way. But the deeper nervous system stuff, which is what I consider to be the most important stuff, is really what I will do with somebody after they've done the initial gut healing work, which is often around that tolerance level of 1 cup, half a cup, a quarter of a cup. Again, not always. Oftentimes we spend a little bit longer, and sometimes we jump right into it because people are ready for it. But oftentimes when you start to nourish the body, it is going to cause a lot of surfacing of emotions, and that's actually a really good thing. That's a normal thing because your body's basically saying, I'm ready to handle it. I'm ready to go there. And you're nourished and strengthened enough to be able to tolerate some of that deeper work without it spiraling into some of your other chronic symptoms, making those a lot worse. So if you would like support with this, I have a 6-month whole health blueprint coaching program that takes you start to finish in this process of healing the gut, detoxing the body, and regulating the nervous system in a very deep way. We just added a nervous system coach. So anybody who joins after this point is going to get a free 2-hour-long session with our nervous system coach, who is amazing. And she really helps you to do the deeper work that oftentimes we're not taught in the nervous system space. So if you're ready for that, you can click the link in the description box below to apply for the whole health blueprint. We would love to have you. And if you got any value out of this video, like the video and subscribe to my channel for more root cause gut health related content like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.